Hello, my name is Stewart Brown and I'm a primary teacher in the Scottish Borders. I'm currently seconded out as a development officer, and this video today is just to talk you through Glow, what Glow now looks like, and hopefully highlight some of the resources that are available, as long as some tools that will help to improve the teaching and learning in your classroom, and hopefully may convince you to re-engage with Glow again. So, without further ado, let's get started. The easiest way for me to get to Glow is simply to Google Glow. Once we do that, we're then choosing this one right at the top. It should then pop up, fingers crossed. At this point, our usernames in the borders are still very much the same. I know it kind of varies authority to authority. And really, this is what Glow currently is. It is simply the username and the password that allows you to access a whole range of different tools and resources. So I'll then click sign in. Now, thanks to the great linked accounts, you can see that all the accounts that I have are in the one place. So today I'm just going to show you with my primary school account. And this will now take us to our Unify and the various launch pads. So in the borders, what we've looked to do is each launch pad has been personalised. It has a picture of the school along with the school logo, and the hope for that is just so that it feels like it belongs to someone and to give the school actual ownership of it. So, what we have here is a whole range of different links that take you to various resources and sites over the web. Some of these are ones that would normally have to be paid for, and some of these are free. So, let's get started and have a look. The first one I'm going to look at today is Books for All Scotland, and that comes from Call Scotland. This is an electronic library for learners with text difficulties. So, the definition of that, from what I believe, is it could include things like dyslexia, visual impairment, or a physical impairment. And please be aware that you also have to have a physical copy of the book. So, how this then works is if we click in the top right hand corner, we can search for someone like a Roald Dahl, and various texts will come up. The easiest ones to access at the moment seem to be the PDFs and any PowerPoints that are available. So imagine that in the class we're reading Danny the Champion of the World. I simply then click on it, and then I have the option to download it. So I'll simply click download, and then this will download as normal. If we give that a few seconds to load up. Just to make you aware that it does have various textbooks, so in high school, national, higher textbooks, as well as TJ Maths, Heinlein Maths for the primary school. So now, as you can see, I have a full version of Danny the Champion of the World right there. I can zoom in and out. If I need to make text bigger or smaller, we can obviously change the colour. For me, one of the most exciting parts of this, though, is that obviously we can have this read parsed to us. So if I press Command S on here,
we lived in an old gypsy caravan behind a filling station. My father owned the filling station and the caravan and a small field behind.
In schools we
but
have
that was about
the
all he
video
owned in the
reader
world.
installed.
It was a very small filling station on a small country road
me,
surrounded by fields and woody hills.
This is massive, because you imagine those learners where it's their mechanical reading skills that are the barrier to their learning. So in maths, when you're looking to apply their maths understanding, they then find a barrier due to them having less confidence with reading questions. For me, this is huge. This allows them to independently engage with their learning, and for me, it's something that I would definitely be recommending people have a look at. So that is Books for All Scotland. We do have another electronic library available, and that's RM Books. Slight difference with RM Books is this is a paid for service. It does have all the classics on there for free, so like your Alice in Wonderland and such like. So no other classes in the primary, those could be used. Definitely at high school there's some text that you could be using there with the learners. I apologise for my slow internet today. So as we go down here, you can imagine maybe we're looking at Warhorse and we're doing a book study. We can then have the option to rent these, so you can rent them for as low as 23p for 7 days, or 58p for 30 days, or however much you want. And the license is there, so you can get that up with your smartboard. So I'd imagine for using this in class, this is a huge resource. I click preview just to kind of give you an idea of what this looks like. It should pop up fairly quickly. We have just a full version of the text there that can be used on the smartboard for all our learners to hopefully access when need be. Another great thing about this is you can add different layers to it. So once you've actually allocated the book, you can add things like little quizzes to it, which can start building into sort of comprehension activities, and you can add different layers, so you can have things like getting it read aloud and so forth. I'd imagine this could be great for the early years, that if the learners are kind of saying what they want to be learning about, and you don't want to go out and buy a book because they cost too much, 23p for 7 days, that sounds great for me. The other thing to make you aware of is that you can have it set up so a head teacher puts money in or an administrator puts money in, and then that money can be passed out to different teachers, because I know as teachers we're already spending too much of our own money on things like this. So I'd encourage you to look down this route. There is a nice case study about RM books on the Glow Connect, or the Glow Gallery I think it may be, from Harris Academy, that talk through how they've been using them, so I'd recommend going and having a look at that. The next resource I'm going to show you is another reading resource, and this is Screen Shorts. And what Screen Shorts looks to do is develop reading skills through moving images. So in the past in my classroom I've made use of a lot of the Pixar shorts and other short movies to help develop these reading skills in my learners. And for me, Screen Shorts is great because it has a whole range of different films all in one place. So if I go to Films for Your Classroom, it comes up with this asking you to sign in, and when it does that, just click over Login with Glow, and then we will click Films for Your Classroom again. Nothing like being handy here, Stuart. So if we go to Films for Your Classroom again, what we have is we have a whole range of different films there, and they give us an idea of the sort of things we might want to look at. So for example, if we look at Dango, we may look at colour and sound. We can then click on this. It gives us a slight explanation of what the video is all about. Then we have the video there that can play straight in our browser. I can press play and it'll go. But if you're in one of these schools and you're like, nope, Stuart, I'm not going to trust my internet, the films are actually there for you to download and use. So you can download them, have them on the USB or saved into your documents, ready to go. And another wonderful thing is that it comes with a whole set of different questions, things to do whilst you're watching, and different activities you can use for analysing and creating. So as a starter, you know what I mean, you've got these great things to use. You can print them off, have them there right in front of you as something to refer to whilst you're actually watching the film or video with your learners as well. So for me, this is a huge resource and one that you can kind of really just jump into and start using. So I'd recommend it for a different approach to reading. That is the first of a couple of moving images resources. If you notice there, my Launchpad always stays open, so that's always open in a tab. Everything I click on then opens from that in a new tab, just to let you know. So the next one to show you is Scotland on Screen. So this is a whole collection of different films from, from the 30s, 40s, some earlier than that I believe. So that should pop up. So how this works, if we go along to the side and browse collection, you'll see there's a whole load of films there that you can actually take, use, and you can search for specific things. So maybe I'm doing a case study of what our town used to be like. If I search for a town, it'll come up with different films that are available. So there's a match from 1962. Again, it gives us a little blurb about what it is. The film is there. Again, we can download it. This may be great if you're wanting to kind of take some primary resources and then adapt them into something else. You could use Movie Maker or any other media tools to kind of create your own media from this. And again, there are some questions and activities you can use down the bottom. So this could be great if you are doing something like a topic or you're a history teacher, especially if you are doing that sort of comparison of how life was in the past. So that's Scotland on Screen. The last one I'll just point you out to is Languages on Screen. For me, as a primary teacher, these may be slightly too challenging for my learners, but as we're looking at the 1+2 languages, this may be something that more and more comes down to the primary level. Great for language teachers. There's a whole range of different films that are in different languages, and I believe they'd be a real great hook to get our learners engaged with them. So the next resource I'll show you is TwigTag. So TwigTag is a science resource, and we have Twig as well, but I will just show you TwigTag for a little bit. When I click this, it'll tell us that it's going to run out in June, which would be a huge shame. My understanding is that there is currently a tender for a resource similar to this, so hopefully very soon we'll find out what's happening with that. For the moment though, how I would use TigTag is if I go to my curriculum, I can then look at certain levels. So imagine I was looking at science, second level. What we then have is we have a whole bunch of E's and O's there, and we have units attached to them. So imagine if I was doing something like food webs or food change, which is somewhere around here. Let's go for 2028. There you go, excellent. So we've got a unit here that says food webs. I can then click on that, and what should then come up, fingers crossed, is a whole bunch of different videos that we can use, which for me are absolutely fantastic and great to use in the classroom. But then to take that a step further, there's a button here that says lesson prep. So when I click on that, you'll see straight away I've got practical activities, gives me ideas of things I can physically do with my learners. And if I cross that off, I've got activity sheets, I've got classroom visuals, lesson ideas, the big questions to be asking when I'm looking at this experience outcome, and lesson plans as well. So for me as a teacher, if I was looking to plan a unit or topic or context, however you want to say it, for science or with a science context, this is a huge starter point. And this offers me a lot of resources and a lot of different ideas of how I can really engage my learners with science, and a lot of different activities that I may not have thought of. So I think this is a fantastic resource, and the fact it's all in one place, it's really great. I was just speaking to a maths teacher about Twig, and they told me that they would use some of the videos for the first time, and it got the kids really engaged. They had really never kind of seen the application of the maths before, at the same level as what they see through some of the videos on Twig. So that's another great resource for you to use. The other one I now show people is the National Qualifications course materials. So I think this is only accessible through Glow. When you click on it, you can choose the subject you're interested in, and it kind of gives you different sort of approaches that happen across the whole of Scotland, and share some of the different materials they're using. So that's there. We've got Glow TV, which is for broadcasting, so it allows different people to connect. So you'll remember in the past we've had Glow meets with different authors. Just recently they had a lovely Glow meet with an astronaut. So this is all here for you to be doing with your learners or for yourself as a teacher for your own professional learning. The other thing that I would say here is that when this loads up in the top right hand corner, there is now the option to watch again. So you can see these previous Glow TV's episodes that I've been on. For me, that's fantastic. Lots of different ones popping up all the time, and something I'd highly recommend that you'd go and have a wee look at. This is going very slow, so I think I might give up on it. I'll cross that off just now. So the next one I'll point you out to is blogs. So really for me, blogs is a good first step in creating websites with our learners, or with our teachers creating websites. So essentially with a few clicks you create your own website. These websites can be public facing, so they can be accessed by parents, etc, etc. I'll show you an example of one that's been happening in Borders at the moment. So this is a class who are looking at mini beasts. So they're sharing what's been happening in the class, giving clues what's going to be happening next, sharing their learning in different ways, things they're using in class and such like. And they're actually growing their own caterpillars, and they're sharing the progress with that, which I think is absolutely fantastic. So you can see here, they're showing how much they've grown. 35 replies, you know what I mean? The parents are engaged, the learners are engaged. It's a great way to kind of increase the transparency in your classroom and get parents more involved. And obviously, in terms of motivation for our learners, here's a huge motivation. I'll stop there and I'll continue this on in a wee second.